Everyone, today I want to talk to you about a simple guide to heart rate training and how anyone can use it. Now, it's a Tuesday morning, so on Tuesdays I always talk all things running, and this is something that I've spent quite a lot of time learning. However, it's something when you look it up, generally anything to do with kind of heart rate training is normally written by a scientist of some kind and makes it incredibly complicated to understand. And I've personally found heart rate training to be possibly one of the most beneficial aspects of running. Now, it can be used for so many different things, and but the key thing it does, it gives you data. Now, everybody's going to have different running goals and different ambitions, and completely respect that. So don't automatically assume that the running is going to be just for people that want to get to, heart rate training is going to be for people who want to get to an elite level or a heavily improved level. It's a metric, ultimately, your heart rate. But what it ultimately shows you is your effort levels, which is really, really important for pacing yourself on longer runs, but also just as equally important to ensure you're not exerting yourself too much when you've got different kind of goals. Like it might be fat burning. Well, if you're fat burning, you need to stay at a really slow pace, and your heart rate needs to be in the fat burning zone, which enables you to burn fat rather than carbohydrate. So you can go too quick when you're trying to burn fat, which people often think, how can you be running too quick when you're trying to improve? But it depends on your goal. So it can help people get to the next level when they're trying to progress. It can give people like a dashboard or a metric when it's coming to measuring their performance and tracking that they're on point with their plan. So if you're running a race and you need a metric to kind of keep yourself on point, I use heart rate for my marathon running, for example. So it's a really flexible metric, and it's super accurate. Now, I tell a lie. There is one metric which could make it slightly more accurate for you, which is power. And I actually have a power adapter on my left foot, if you can see it, which is a little black device. And power is traditionally a metric that's used by cyclists. I think it's because cyclists maintain a more consistent speed than runners, and it's very, very sensitive. So if I just go a little bit further forward like this, my power would shoot through the roof instantly. Whereas, and it drops, really volatile. It's really volatile in its movement, so it's difficult to control. Heart rate, however, it normally lags. So I've just done that little sprint. My heart rate's probably only just now jumping up. So the way I can see, I mean, my heart rate was, it's just gone up to 138. It was down at 131. So you can see there's a lag. It also moves a lot slower, so you can control it a lot more effectively. And it's really, really important if you're running to a plan that you have that ability to control whatever data you're using to measure your performance. So that's a little bit of a high-level overview. I hope I haven't confused anyone at this stage. Now, firstly, what do you need to be able to to be able to monitor your heart rate? Well, first and foremost, most smartwatches or running devices that you can run, you can even, I think, most watches will take on your wrist, will take your heart rate. However, if you want to do this seriously, I recommend getting a designated heart rate monitor. And you need to do a little bit of research here, because you need to make sure whatever you're going to be using is compatible with your running device. I run with my Apple Watch. I also have a Fitbit Inspire HR, but I don't use that for running. But that's tracking my heart rate separately. I have 3 devices on me at the moment that's tracking my heart rate, which is probably massively overkill. My Apple Watch 5, which is what I predominantly use for, what I will use for everything running. Okay, my Fitbit Inspire HR is what I use for. Is what I use for my sleep tracking and everyday kind of health metrics. Sorry, and then I have my Polar OH1, which is this black kind of wristband which sits just below my right elbow. Now, that's a proper designated heart rate monitor by Polar, who are one of the the experts in heart rate monitoring. And the reason I use it is what people don't realise is when you're getting your heart rate monitored from your watch, your wrist has a lot of movement in it, you see. And when your wrist moves a lot, to get accurate heart rate, it's based on a consistent connection with your pulse. And when your wrist is moving quite a lot, it can lose it and you can get spikes of inaccurate data. To summarise, if I went on Strava and looked at anybody who's actually tracking heart rate, so if their watch is doing it or their heart monitor, I reckon I could state fairly accurately which people are using a designated heart rate monitor against those that are just using their watch on their wrist, because it's a much smoother graph, so it maintains the level of accuracy far more closely, which is why I use a heart rate monitor, because I use it quite in depthly, whereas others won't. So first and foremost, you need to decide. So to track your heart rate, if you're just doing it really, really at a very, very basic level, then absolutely your heart rate monitor on your wrist from your watch is fine. You need to make sure that whatever app you're using is picking up the heart rate. Most of them should. If you're going to use something more designated, you need to make sure that whatever you choose is compatible with whatever watch or running device you're going to be using. Now that's the beauty of the Apple Watch 5. It integrates with pretty much most of the heart rate monitors out there. Which one of the? I've bet it's rare to find one that doesn't. So that's what you need. You don't need a huge amount of tech to do this. But then, what does it mean? Okay, well, the problem is if you look at heart rate zones and stuff like this, people get confused with that because, I'm in zone 1, I'm in zone 2, I'm in zone 3. What does that actually mean? And that's the problem. People haven't got a clue what it means. You know what zone you're in, and there's a few key points or metrics you need to understand with heart rate and create your own zones. That's message number 1. That means something to you. And what I mean by mean something to you is I don't have a clue what zone 1 or zone 2 or what zone 3 means. And even heart rate apps that you get on your watch will tell you what zone you're in. But again, if there's no substance behind that, you don't know what it means, you can't train for that. So I've worked all this out myself. It took me ages to work this out. I've tried to make it pretty simplistic for anybody to be able to use, because it's such a powerful way of getting what you need out of running. The exception being, if people just go out there to run to feel good, absolutely fine, you don't need a heart rate monitor at all. If you're looking to lose weight, if you're looking to improve as a runner, no matter how fast or slow you are, then you need some form of measurement to track how you're performing. And that's why heart rate is so effective. So what are the key measurements you need to understand? Well, firstly, maximum heart rate. Okay, you need to know what your heart rate, it maxes out at. And that shows the maximum level you can work at based on your cardiovascular system. And you can do that in a couple of ways. The more challenging way is to go and sprint as fast as you can, for as long as you can, with a heart rate monitor on, and then look at where your heart rate spiked at or peaked at, and that would be your maximum heart rate. The other way of doing it, there's a couple of ways of doing this. There's the way of doing it as I've got to get this right now, I've got to remember, for 220 minus your age. That's the kind of standard way of working out your heart rate, but it's been proven to be a little bit inaccurate. The more accurate version, according to those complicated scientists, is I think it's 207 times 0.7 times your age. Okay, so it's your maximum, your 207 beats minus whatever 0.7 times your age is, and that should give you a slightly more accurate. There's normally a 1 or 2 beats per minute, difference between the two equations, but apparently that more complicated one has been a more accurate way of doing it. So that'll give you a maximum heart rate. Important to know, because I'll talk to you about different types of running training you can do. There's predominantly 4 main ones where you're benefiting as a runner, and there's a 5th one so many people do, where all they're doing is calorie burn or junk miles, which I'll talk to you about in a separate video, so don't worry about that now. What I'm trying to get you is to understand heart rate and how it can work for you. So I'll talk about the 4 main areas, but heart rate is key to understand which kind of the main running training programs you're actually performing on if you're trying to improve as a runner. So maximum heart rate is number one. So I'm giving you an easy way to calculate that. The next one is resting heart rate. That's really important because that's generally gauging your level of cardiovascular fitness. Now my resting heart, I'll give you my figure. So my maximum heart rate is 183. I have been slightly higher than that, but I'm getting older now, so I've dropped it a little bit down to 183. But I do keep pointing on this. So 183 is pretty accurate for me. That's my maximum heart rate. My resting heart rate is 51, which is pretty good. Anything in 51, 52. Anything in the mid to low 50s is very good. Anything under 60 is very good. 60 to 70 can be very good depending on your age. So you need to do a little bit of research on what a good resting heart rate is for your age to kind of gauge where you are. But what it says to me is I'm pretty fit for my age, so which is good, which is where I want to be. So that's resting heart rate, and you can measure that really easily. First thing in the morning, you can even just take your pulse, with your fingers and count it. Or if you've got some form of heart rate monitoring watch, that should give you that data, and it will be pretty accurate, especially if you want one that you're going to wear overnight, because it will catch you when you're most rested. If you try and do resting heart rate middle of the day, it'll be a lot higher than what it is when you first wake up in the morning. So if you've got something like a Fitbit or something that you sleep in, that'll give you a really good reading, your resting heart rate. So that's number two. The next one, there's two more that you need to know. Sorry, I've just got something between my toes. That's again barefoot style. Get a little grassy between your toes. Sorry, I digress. So the next one is maximum aerobic function, MAF, M-A-F. Now don't get too worried about it. Sounds complicated, but basically what it is the point at which you cross over from burning fat as an energy source to carbohydrate. Okay, so it's a lot harder for your body to burn fat, or it is for most people, as an energy source. However, just to put a bit of context around this, even the most skinniest people out there that have got such low percentage levels of fat will have somewhere in the region of 77,000 calories worth of energy support stores in their fat. So basically what that means is you've got an energy source that just keeps on going if you can keep in that zone. And that's the challenge, because obviously when you start getting muscle fatigue and things like that, your heart rate creeps up. But this is why people that are kind of your Ironman and stuff like that can do these crazy distances for so long, because they're predominantly using fat as energy supply. And if you stay in that zone, it's arguable whether you'd ever hit the wall, because you're never going to burn 77,000 calories worth of energy. So unless you're a Superman or something. So that's what it means. But why is it so important? Well, it's super important because A, if you want to lose weight, you want to be running in fat burning zone. And if you don't know where that crossover is, you don't know what number you need to keep below. So how do you work out your, I've got to try to remember the easiest way to do this is it's 180, take the number 180, I think is minus your age, which would then give you, but then you've got a little bit of a variance here. If you're injured or injury prone, coming back from injury, depending on how you feel, 5 being the most severe, 1 being the least severe, deduct an extra number off of that, depending on what number, so 1 to 5. So if you're injured or recovering from injury or unfit, health's not in the best condition, depending on where you feel, 1 to 5, minus that figure off that calculation. So 180 minus your age, okay? Then minus 1 to 5 if you've got any form of health conditions or you're recovering from injuries. Really important, because your heart rate will work harder. If you're fit, really fit, then you can do the same on the opposite scale, 1 to 5. So if you're really fit and feeling really good, plus 5 to that figure. If you're just a little bit fit, but you feel better than normal, plus 1. If you really don't know, just don't do anything. Okay, so treat it as a 0. So hopefully that hasn't overcomplicated it too much, but that's how you calculate your math zone. Right, now mine is 146. So I know if I'm 145 beats a minute on my heart rate or less, I'm in my math zone. Now I'm running at the moment 145. Now my heart rate's higher because I'm running pretty slow for me at 5 minute 54k pace. But I'm talking a lot. So my heart rate's working harder because I'm talking, which is why talking while running is often a really good thing to do. So I'm just going to do a couple of doggies here so I don't run on a really busy road. I mean by doggies, I mean doggy runs back and forth. So that's how you can calculate your maximum aerobic function, and the importance of it is to know where you're burning fat when you're not. It's really, really important if you're trying to lose weight. The next one is your lactate threshold. Now, again, it's really complicated. They can't just call it something really, really simple. But this is the kind of threshold of when your lactic acid starts building up in your muscles. Okay, so this is for faster running. When your muscles start fatiguing more rapidly is when they cross over the lactate threshold. Okay, now this is again, it's quite relatively simple to work out. The easiest, the most accurate way of doing it is you go out and do a 30-minute run all out. And then what you do is you look at your average heart rate for the last 20 minutes of that run. Okay, and that will give you your lactate threshold. Okay, and that's the average of that last 20 minutes of that all out 30-minute run. However, a lot of people don't want to do that. So there is a simple calculation. And you can basically put your maximum heart rate times anything between 85% and 92%. I work off 88% generally. Well, that's what I'd normally do because it's bang in the middle. So I would, if I was trying to do this, I've done this my way, and I know my maximum aerobic function is 165. Sorry, not maximum aerobic function. My lactate threshold is at 165 because I've tested it. But if you haven't tested it, then just do the calculation of maximum heart rate, which you know how to work out now, times 88%. Okay, and that will give you a really good indication of where your lactate threshold is. This is important when you do things like tempo runs or faster runs where you're trying to improve your endurance at a faster speed. Okay, so this might not be relevant for a lot of people, but for those who want to improve, you want to be training quite frequently, at least once a week, at that threshold to improve your body's ability to run under duress. What I mean by that is the ability to clear lactate acid from your muscles. So they're just the four main things you need. Now, how do they all fit together? Well, they all fit together more, and I'll explain more when I talk to you about the four main types of training you can do, which are VO2 max, or intervals, which a lot of people use, hills, lactate threshold, or tempo runs, and endurance, or long runs. Now, those four metrics I've talked to you about will be used in different ways for those four different areas. There is a fifth, which is called junk miles. And that's basically, if you run, so as a general rule of thumb, if you run under your maximum aerobic function, you're improving your overall endurance. Okay, so your ability to run for longer, you'll get stronger doing it. You're increasing your stamina and endurance, and you're also burning fat. So there's benefits outside of burning calories by running in the mass zone. And I recommend for people starting out, try and stick below your mass zone on all your long runs. I try to, periodically when I'm on a long run. It's only when I go into races that I ignore that. I'll talk to you about my race plan on another day. But lactate threshold, when you're doing your tempo runs where you want to train for 10Ks, half marathons, even help with 5Ks, you're getting your body's ability to run at a quicker pace, under more stress, and its ability to clear lactate acid, which will keep you running for longer. So it's improving your endurance at a faster pace. So that's why those two key points are important. I don't care about my zones, I just care about knowing those four different things: my max heart rate, my resting heart rate, my maximum aerobic function, and my lactate threshold. I know all of those things to the actual button, and I'm tracking it. And when I track my heart rate, I'm checking my heart rate, the average of the whole run. I'm checking it for the last lap, which I do in Ks, and I'm checking it within the last 3 seconds. Okay, so there's a bit of a lag, so make sure it's picked things out. So I'm tracking my heart rate in 3 different ways when I'm running, and I talked about all the data I show on my Stride app another day, but I love data, as you probably guessed by now. So hopefully that's helped you. So to summarise, to use heart rate training at any level, you need to know, well, for starters, you need to have a heart rate device that tracks your heart rate. It's either a smartwatch, a running watch of some kind, or a heart rate monitor. And this OH1, super accurate, it was about 65 quid or something. You can go all out on these things, but I like ones around my arm. I don't like the ones around my chest. I find them quite restrictive. So, but there's loads of choices out there. I'm not affiliated with any of them, but I like the Polar OH1. It has about 8 hours worth of battery life. So yeah, 3 or 4 days worth of running, maybe a week's worth of running with a bit of luck out of it, and it gives me everything I need as accurate as I need it. So you need the gear, point number 1. Point 2, know the 4 key heart rate measures. Maximum heart rate, which I've told you about, is the 2 ways of doing it: 220 minus your age, or 207 minus, in brackets, 0.7 times your age. Okay, and it should be, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 beats per minute out, or whichever, but you want to go for the slightly more accurate one. But that's how you calculate your maximum heart rate without having to do it in an exercise-based setting. Then you need to know your maximum aerobic function, which is 180 minus your age, and then you've got a swing of 5 either way, depending on if you've got health issues, if you've got recovered from injury, or if you're feeling really good and really fit, you can go 1 to 5 on the plus side of it. If you've got health issues or you're really unfit, just starting out, you can go 1 to 5 minus side to kind of give you your maximum aerobic function. And then your lactate threshold, which is basically 88% of your maximum heart rate. It's 85 to 92. I always go in the middle, 88%. So really, really easy. Just time your maximum heart rate times 0.88 or 88%, and it will give you your lactate threshold. And what you generally want to do for most of your runs is either be below your maximum aerobic function or above or on your lactate threshold. And I'll talk to you about the reasons why, but anything in between is junk miles. You're running for burning calories, which is fine. You're not improving as a runner if you're in that junk mile range. So you're improving if you're under your math, or you're improving if you're on your lactate threshold or above. So I hope that's been useful. Any questions? Just as a disclaimer, I'm not a heart rate running coach, training expert, or anything like that. I'm just giving you why I use heart rate, what it does for me, and how you can use it in your training quite easily. And then I'll talk to you on another episode how I use heart rate very specifically when I'm running a marathon to not hit the wall. So I've hit the wall on a couple of occasions, which is horrendous, and I've hit PBs on a couple of occasions when I've used this technique. So I'll talk to you about it on another episode. But I hope you found that useful. Any questions, drop me a comment and I'll always respond. If it's something that's a little bit more chunky, I'll do an episode on it and tag you in so that you get a more detailed response. So I hope you found it useful. As always, please like, share, comment if you can to give me some extra reach if you think this is useful, or if you hate this, just unfollow me. And I'll speak to you on the next episode. As always, stay positive and happy.